Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is Living in Chattanooga, Tennessee. My name is Francica, and in today's video, we're going to discuss why people do not like Chattanooga. Let's get into it in today's video. So as we get started on the video, I just want to mention that probably mid or towards the end of the video, I'm actually going to go into the map and kind of talk about traffic, where the bottlenecks are, where you can find the most traffic, because that's becoming a bigger issue. But before we get to traffic, the first thing we're going to discuss is the housing prices. Prices have definitely gone up, and that's a big reason why people do not like Chattanooga. Initially, when Chattanooga started hitting the scene and people started discovering it, prices were super low. And if you compare it to the national average, it's still below the national average, but not as cheap as it used to be. So over the last 3 years, from 2021 to 2024, Chattanooga or Hamilton County home prices have increased over 27.5%, which is absolutely crazy. Now, of course, a lot of that had to do with COVID and prices rising and people moving here. But just to give you a more realistic or a more recent picture, from April of 2023, the home prices were $345,000, and as of April 2024, the prices are $365,000. So that's a jump of about 5.5% to 6%. So it's still appreciating, it's still growing at a nice pace. But that, I just wanted to paint a picture of, like, yes, we grew very fast, and now that COVID is kind of done and the economy is kind of changing a little bit, the rates have increased, we're still growing, but not at the super hot pace that we were once before. Now, of course, with markets changing, economies changing, election year, all these different things are going to change towards the end of the year, beginning of next year, but that's where we stand as of today. Now, of course, that 5.5% to 6% growth is in Hamilton County, where Chattanooga is located. There's so many different areas and so many different counties around us. I'm just going to go ahead and put it all over the screen, the different areas, the price difference from April of 23 to April 24, and the percent increase or percent decrease, right? So the average is 5.5% to 6%, but there's some that are way over, there's some that are way below, and there's some that are actually negative. So as you can see from the screen and the numbers around me, you can go ahead and pause the video. But these are kind of the prices increases over the last year alone in the general Chattanooga area. All right, moving on to the next one, we're going to discuss one of the things that I get asked all the time, and that's tornadoes. One of the big reasons why people do not like Chattanooga is because we do get tornadoes. Now, are we in Tornado Alley? Absolutely not. And let me break it down for you with how the area has gotten tornadoes over the year. Hey guys, real quick, I'm an agent here in Chattanooga. I love making these videos, but if you're looking to move to Chattanooga, I'd love to help you. Me and my team are ready and willing to help you move and make the transition as seamless as possible. So reach out to me on the number on your screen. We'd love to talk to you, answer any questions personally on the phone or through text. So let's get back to the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a map on the screen. As you can see from the map on the screen, you have Tennessee tornadoes by county, right? And I have highlighted Hamilton County, and you can see from 1950 to 2022, and that's about 72 years, Hamilton County has gotten 26 tornadoes over a 72-year span. Now, yes, we still get tornadoes, obviously, as you can see from the map, but it's not something that we get all the time. The last time a tornado hit the general area was about 3 to 4 years ago. It touched down for a mile and then kind of picked up and disappeared. And the time before that was right before I got to Chattanooga. I got to Chattanooga in 2012, and a tornado hit right over the border in Georgia in 2011. So within the last, I've been here since 2012. So within the last 12 years that I've been here, only one tornado has hit the area, and one right before I got here. And I'm also going to put the tornado index on the screen right here. And this is based off of USA.com. You can see that the national average tornado index is about 130. And if you look at Hamilton County, it's actually lower than the state of Tennessee. So do we get tornadoes? Yes, we do. As you can tell from the tornado index, it's actually lower than the average of the Tennessee, of the state as a whole, but it's still something that happens. It's still something that you should be aware of. One thing that I will mention, it doesn't happen year round. Typically, it's right now during the springtime. Right before spring to the springtime, it's when the cold air and hot air kind of mix in the air that you have the opportunity for a tornado to be created. Another topic I want to discuss why people do not like Chattanooga is the school systems, right? This has a lot of mixed reviews, some good, some bad. Of course, a lot of areas have really good schools and a lot of bad schools. And according to niche.com, their total grade system for Hamilton County and where Chattanooga is located, I believe it was number 7 on the list. And and I'll actually link the video, I believe up here, to the separate video that I made about all the school systems based off niche.com of the 2024 rankings of the school systems in the area. But for the most part, Chattanooga gets a B on that list. It's not horrible, but it is number 7. There's a lot better school systems within the other areas of Chattanooga, whether different counties or different cities around us. All right, so now we've come to the section of the video where we're going to discuss traffic. So as you can see, I have the map pulled up of the greater Chattanooga area, and I have my handy dandy little scribbly thing where I can show you exactly where all the traffic is pretty much located and centralized. I know for a long time I talked about how traffic isn't really that bad, and I still don't think it's as bad if it were not for the construction that's going on here. But let's go ahead and discuss where you can find traffic and where all the construction is happening. So a big fork that diverts a lot of traffic to, that brings a lot of trucks either coming down from, Nashville or the western part of the country to Atlanta, which is a huge hub, is 75, which connects to 24. So you have 75 right here that comes north, and then you get 24 that goes west. So this part right here, 24, and then it keeps going west. You can find a lot of traffic around that area. So where exactly in that area can you find traffic? So one of the main forks that you're going to get traffic is right in this spot right here. Okay, so right here, I don't know, for whatever reason, the first part of the construction, they made the road go from 4 to 1 lane, I believe. So you have probably 80% of the traffic that's coming up North 75 is trying to go to 24, and it goes straight to 1 lane right here. So a lot of the trucks create a lot of traffic in this area that will make you go west. So if you're coming down South 75 to get to 24, right here, there's a huge traffic jam, right? But as soon as you kind of pass that area, it clears up a little bit. A lot of the construction that's taking place is right here. Oh, that was a bad little sketch. Let's try that again. It's right here. I can't draw a straight line. Let's try it again. Right here. So right there, they're trying to widen the lanes, trying to make traffic more free flowing, and I'm sure it will help. But right now, they still haven't expanded the lanes, and the speed limits are slower, so you are going to get traffic there. Another reason why there's traffic on 24 is right here. There is pretty much a big mountain going this way, and as you go east or west, going up the mountain right here or going down the mountain right here, again, there's a lot of trucks, and they are either going to slow down going down the mountain, but for sure they're going to be super slow going up the mountain. So when you're leaving downtown, if you have to go to the western part of the county or towards that way, going up the hill right here, that's where a ton of traffic is going to be, because all the trucks are slowing down going up the mountain. Okay, once we pass that area, it's free flowing for the most part. Another big fork is 24 when you're going around the bend, and this is the bend over here. There's a ton of traffic there, again, because there's a lot of trucks, and there is no exit or on-ramp once you get into the bend until you get into Lookout Valley. Then there's a lot of exits, but right here also there's a lot of traffic. Okay, the next area that I will discuss is probably once you pass Ottawa and you have 75 that goes up to Cleveland. Right here in this area, there are no exits. Okay, so from pretty much here, once you pass exit 11 on 75 to once you're getting closer to Cleveland, there's no exits. And again, right here, there's a mountain. So you're kind of slowly going, and then from here, you're going up the mountain, trucks going up the mountain, slow everything down. So that's somewhere that you can get a lot of traffic. I will point out that it's not as much traffic as here, and here, right? But you still get a little something as far as traffic goes in the afternoons when people are going back home or driving to Cleveland. One of the other main areas that you get a lot of traffic is going into Hickson. So you have 153, Highway 153, that kind of goes up here. And right here, you have the dam. So again, no exits going into Cleveland and leaving Cleveland. Leaving Cleveland is not a big deal. It's really getting into Cleveland. But right here where the dam is, there's a lot of traffic going into Cleveland, especially in the afternoon, something to take into account. So typically people that live over here in this area don't really go to Hickson in the afternoon just because of that traffic here, right? So then after you pass the dam, you have 153 that kind of continues up that way. And it is pretty busy along this strip right here in Hickson, and even right here as well, because that's where you can find like restaurants and Target and places like that. But for the most part, it is pretty free flowing once you pass the dam that's right here. So those are kind of the main bottlenecks that you can find as far as traffic goes. Of course, there's so many small roads and back roads that you can take to kind of go around traffic and divert traffic. And there are a lot of traffic spots because of the small roads and the neighborhoods being built up. So of course, if you have, 50 or 100 or 200 home neighborhood going up and there's only a 2-lane road, it's going to create traffic. And as Chattanooga grows, traffic is going to grow more and more, and something you need to be aware of. The other thing I want to discuss why people do not like Chattanooga is because it's not a huge city, right? A lot of people move here because it is a small city and they want that feel, but sometimes people move here thinking that it's a big enough city for them, it has what they need, and they find out that it doesn't. If you're looking for high-end stores like Gucci and shopping that way, we do not have that at all. You're gonna have to drive 2.5 hours north to Nashville or 2 hours south to Atlanta to get those stores. If you want an Apple store, we don't have that here. For a long time, we did have a Apple retailer called Mac Authority at Hamilton Place Mall, but that store is no longer there. So your Apple store is actually going to be either Target or Best Buy or places like that. Again, you're going to have to drive to Nashville up north, or you're going to have to drive down to Atlanta. So if shopping or having all these nice big name brand stores are important to you, Chattanooga does not have that. Of course, we have Whole Foods and Target and those type of places, but the higher end stores or the more selection of stores, that won't be found here. Another thing that comes with being a smaller city or smaller town is the nightlife, right? If you just like to go and catch a drink at the pub or the bar, that's totally fine. We have plenty of that here. But if you are really big into dancing and partying and the nightlife, Chattanooga is pretty much going to be a big disappointment to you. Now, of course, that's all subjective based off of what you think a good nightlife is, but for the most part, if you go on Reddit and forums and all these different places, the nightlife here isn't super vibrant. That's more Nashville, again, 2 hours, 2.5 hours north, or Atlanta down south. So if you're looking for that very vibrant nightlife party style, you're not going to find that here in Chattanooga. And another thing with it being a smaller city is that we don't have any major professional sports teams here. Again, you're gonna have to go up to Nashville or down to Atlanta to get NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL games. We do have semi-professional teams. We actually have 2 semi-pro, or I guess it's considered pro, soccer teams. They're in tier 2 or 3 in the professional division. We have a 3rd tier baseball team, the Chattanooga Lookouts. I believe they're part of the Cincinnati Reds. And that's pretty much it for the most part. So if you just want to catch a quick game, kind of be in that atmosphere, we definitely have that. But for professional sports, if you're coming here from different cities and you want to see your teams play, you're going to have to drive to Nashville or Atlanta once again. The last thing about it being a small city is that if you love concerts or like ballets or like these big shows that you can go to, once again, we do not have a lot of that here. We definitely have theaters here. There are a lot of comedians that come to town and things like that, like Tivoli Theater and other places. But if you're looking for like bigger concert and venues, again, Nashville or Atlanta, 2 hours away. Not horrible drive, but at the same time, not in your backyard. Last week, I took my kids to Nashville to see the Wildcrats. If you have kids, you know exactly what I'm talking about. To a TV show, and they had a really cool show, but I had to drive 2 hours, right? I had to get an Airbnb. I had to spend more money because it wasn't in my backyard. Now, if those 2 hours doesn't bother you, great. But if you like to go to concerts, to like bigger venues and see a lot of different shows, we have smaller stuff here on a smaller scale. But for the most part, you're gonna have to drive to, guess where? Nashville and Atlanta again. The next thing I want to discuss why people do not like Chattanooga is the crime rate, and the crime rate scares a lot of people off or scares people in general about Chattanooga. So on the screen, I'm going to go ahead and put a map of crimegrade.org and the grade that they have given the Chattanooga area. So as you can see from this map, it's not just Chattanooga. You can see on the top right, you have Cleveland, and then north of Chattanooga, you have all the way to Saudi Daisy, and you have Whitwell and Jasper and all those different places. You even have North Georgia in Fort O and in different places. You can see as the greener areas are A+ according to this website, and the not so good areas are an F or red. So as you can see from the map, this is according to crimegrade.org. My personal experience is that we go exploring a lot. We go on a lot of hiking. We take our kids. We have never felt unsafe anywhere we have been. Where we live, My wife leaves the car door open at night by mistake. My kids leave things all over the place. Our bikes are on our front lawn. We never have any issues of people stealing or doing anything like that. For the most part, this area is a bunch of people that are kind and loving and look out for each other. But you can't overlook websites that have these crime grades. They're there for a reason. So you have to take into account these type of websites, but also try and visit the area, talk to a lot of locals. Typically people leave only bad reviews, right? So if you go on Reddit and forums and different places, the only thing you're going to read are the bad things, because people, when they have good experiences, typically they don't leave really good reviews. But just try to take it as a whole. This is what this website mentions. My personal experience with the area. Take it into account, visit the area if you can. But the crime rate is definitely something that you need to take into account, and why people do not like Chattanooga. The next thing I'm going to discuss is allergies, right? Not something you really think about much, but here in Chattanooga, the allergies will definitely hit you. If you've never suffered from allergies, maybe where you're coming from, there is not a lot of pollen count and things like that. Do expect to come here and have kind of a transition period. According to the Chattanooga Allergy Clinic, out of 100 points, 100 being the worst. In the spring, we do get a score of 83, I believe, and in the fall, we get a score of 86. Yes, we do have allergies in the fall, which I didn't even know that until I moved to the area, but it is something that you're going to be affected by. I don't have a lot of allergy issues, but the first couple years of being here, I did have runny nose or like runny eyes, scratchy eyes for about a week or two during the dead of spring and the dead of fall. Typically it subsides and then I'm good for the rest of the year. But a lot of people in the area suffer from allergies because we're surrounded by nature. We have trees and mountains and nature everywhere. And it's something you have to take into account. Typically a 24-hour allergy type of medication will suffice. And sometimes people have to get allergy shots and different treatments. But allergies are definitely something that you have to take into account when moving to Chattanooga, and why some people do not like Chattanooga because of the high the high allergy count. Something I just want to touch on real quick is the high sales tax. A positive about Chattanooga, and I know this is a do not like Chattanooga, but a positive is that we don't have state income tax. But something that people do not like about Chattanooga is that we have a very high sales tax. I believe it's top 5 or top 10, not top 5, top 10 in the country. I believe we're number 9 or number 8. Tennessee as a whole has a 7% sales tax, and different regions tack on their own sales tax to it. So in Hamilton County, we have an additional 2.25 for a total of 9.25% sales tax. Now, places like Georgia, I believe they're at 5 or 6%, and different parts of the country are different sales tax. So whatever you buy in Tennessee or in Chattanooga, you're going to have a higher sales tax. Even if you go over to Georgia, like I bought my car in Alabama, I found one a couple hours away, they still charge me the Tennessee sales tax because I am a resident of Tennessee. One way to kind of get around this is that our Costco in the area is right over the border into Georgia. So you can drive to Costco, get a little bit cheaper sales tax. But for the most part, anything you buy here in Chattanooga, you're gonna have a higher sales tax, and that's a huge negative for the area. Well, that's today's video, guys. I hope I was able to give you some value. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on the number on your screen. If you're looking to move to the area, I would love to help you move to the area. Me and my team will put a plan in place. We will get your timeline ready. We love helping people move to the area that want to be part of the Chattanooga family. So with that being said, until next time, take care and God bless.